What's up, Rockstars? I have a great news video for you. We have a ton of brand new announcements I'm going to be covering. So some big games are coming, some classics from over 10 years ago. There's a lot to discuss. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about some issues and delivery and some things, some changes some companies are doing, and of course, what's available right now. Now, before I get into all that great content, I want to tell you about a great product from Into the AM. I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. I wear these all the time. This just happens to be the one I was wearing today. It just happens to be it. I have a lot of their shirts and I wear them a lot because they feel great. They fit great. 95% off. Last chance to get some of these styles. So there's a big sale going on right now, and you can still combine my discount code. So down in the description below or in the comments, there is a pinned little comment there with a link that has my code in there. You can use that code to save 10% on your order. That includes sale items. 95% off is huge. And guys, they make some truly awesome stuff. I mean, just a wide variety from classic normal shirts to some polos. We got some of that. We have, big prints. We have some of these new vintage ones that are awesome. They feel really good. They're a little bit thicker, a little bit softer. Great for the weather that's coming up here too. Just really good stuff. So if you want to see what they have available, go ahead and again, check that link in the description below and save yourself some money on top of that. Moving on from that, we have a image from one of my patrons. Thank you so much for sharing this. I don't have the Resident Evil game yet, though I will be getting it. I bought it and was super excited for it. My wife loves it. We're big fans of the IP. So the fact that they're making a Resident Evil 4 board game, super cool. Now, sadly, I wasn't able to find any article on this. So this is like just a leaflet they put in here. We're just now hearing about it. So there will be a Resident Evil 4 board game. How will that change things? They've been doing all these other older Resident Evils, but obviously the gameplay was kind of styled like that too. So I want an inventory system. That's all I'm saying. I want a cool inventory system where I'm like piecing together like a little Tetris thing, right? It'll be really cool. I'm excited for it. I think that's awesome. And I can't wait to see what they have in store for us there. Next up, we also have Hybris Disordered Cosmos Rivalry. So Hybris was a game I covered quite a while back. One of the first ones that are like semi-Euro, semi-Amerithrash that I covered. Really enjoyed my time with it, and the art style and the theme was super cool. And August 31st, they have a new expansion with some new gods to play around with. Looks super cool here. So feel free to check it out. They do have a promo pack. I did ask to clarify, while it looks like a booster pack, it is a set of cards. You're not getting some random junk. This is not a gambling mechanic at all. It's just a fun little pack of cards that you get to have for following. So yeah, it's 8.8 on BGG, and that's after like real reviews. People are enjoying it a lot. I know some of my patrons have been playing it. They have a whole bunch of reviews and stuff out there for them. None of mine, but that's okay. That's all right. That was a long time ago, actually. Either way. Yeah, all this down in the description below, of course. Everything I'm covering here will be on there. Next up, we have Marvel Crisis Protocol Crisis Card Pack for 2023. About $20. It's got good old Captain America on it. That'll be 13 updated secure mission cards, 10 updated extract mission cards, and 23 crisis cards. So there's quite a few packs in there. So if you've been playing Crisis Protocol, that's kind of like their like tabletop skirmish style, kind of board gamey style game, then we have some updates there for you to get, which is super cool. Now that is going to be released in October 13th, 2023. The reason I highlighted out is because the release date is white on white. I don't know what's going on there, but they might want to fix that. Next up, we have a few announcements here. This is Trick or Treat Studios. They do all these like classic horror themed board games, and there's going to be more. They're doing a House of Thousand Corpses board game. That was the Rob Zombie movie from a while ago, and that says for 2 to 4 players ages 17 and up, of course, and plays in 60 minutes. It will retail for $60. And again, this is going to be like retail stuff. So this is an FYI. This is probably not going on like Kickstarter or something like that. But yeah, so that'll be cool to see that. And they actually have more. In fact, going from 2023 to 2024, they have LA1 Chucky, and that's based off the newer TV series of Chucky. Not the newer movie though. So the good distinction there. Universal Monsters Unchained. It would be a deck building featuring classic Universal monsters like Wolfman, Frankenstein, and Dracula. That sounds kind of fun. Dark Pact, another deck building game. And City of the Living. City of the Living is a zombie defense tile drafting and placement game that supports 2 to 4 players and plays in 60 minutes. And Scoville, which is an order fulfillment game with auction mechanics that support 1 to 6 players and plays 60 to 90 minutes. Like the order fulfill game, that seems like, is this still Halloween themed? I don't know. We will we will find out, I guess. Seems kind of interesting. All right, next up we have Fractured Crown. This is a Grand Archive expansion that's coming August 25th, 2023. Now, I was curious because I hadn't heard anybody really talking about this. It was announced a while ago, but I also hadn't really heard anybody talking about Grand Archive. I think at least one of my patrons got it received, but that was kind of it. Like, people got it, they opened their box, and I was trying to look. So I looked on BGG. There's about approximately one review that could have it from like the actual delivery of it, not just like a preview thing. And then I found a couple of YouTube videos where people were opening them and kind of talking about them. Not really much of like a review per se. So I honestly don't know. I don't know where this stands. I heard that it is in retail stores and they are selling out of stuff, but I don't know what the stock is for that sellout. Let me know if you play Grand Archive, if you're interested in this. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I think a lot of these TCGs, they live and breathe on whether or not they have continued success in life afterwards, so the cards can actually appreciate, right? And so if it can't, it can't. I don't know. I'll be interested to see. But that'll kind of give us a clue on this Fractured Crown. They are going in the gameplay. If you recall, Grand Archive was my pick when it comes to the different mechanics you could get, because there was this cool memory mechanic in there that they were doing that I thought was interesting. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Next up, we have in 3 days, 17 hours and 29 minutes at time of recording, so even less. Probably about a little bit over 2 days for you guys. Cosmic Cow Collectors, Patsukuro, and Nero Riders. If you recall, I tried to show this off before on BackerKit, but BackerKit had a terrible view of it. This is their normal BackerKit landing page where you can actually see it, so that's kind of nice. So if either of these three games, any of these three games, either doesn't work, then let me know if I should cover these more often. I don't know too much about them, so I'd like to. I like the look of them. So they look cool, especially Cosmic Cow. Just sounds like an awesome name to me. All right, next up we have Firefighters On Duty board game, a thrilling real-time cooperative board game where teamwork sparks victory. This is by Artbook Games. They traditionally do a lot of Euro games like worker placement, stuff like that. This is a thrilling real-time cooperative game where teamwork sparks victory, which is every single cooperative game. So I don't know what makes this work. If you have any more information, let me know. I do know that the theme, I think a lot of people will like, right? I mean, firefighters are cool. Putting out fires are as interesting, and fires are just cool in general. So, I can see a thing where it's like a board management thing where like things are, firefighting and like, or like on fire and you have to put them down and they're spreading and stuff like that. It'd be kind of interesting. Next up, we have Storm Raiders, which is awesome. I almost want to say Storm Riders, but Storm Raiders. The art style alone looks super cool, so interested in that. It's a 1 to 4 player game designed by Shim Phillips. I don't know who that is, so if that's a developer that you know, let me know. Race, raid, and salvage across Atlantis to become the greatest Storm Raider in that new game. So excited to see more about that. Next up, we have Ritual, the Cthulhu cultist party game of spellcasting and betrayal. Seems kind of interesting because you all play cultists, but some of the cultists don't want to do your stuff. They want to do their own stuff. And so it's kind of this weird, like, not traitor mechanic per se. I don't know. It's they call it social deduction, right? But it's not like the find the one guy. I guess there's a group of people out here that are followers of the King in Yellow. So kind of interesting to hear about that. The art style looks great. The minis don't look good. Don't get this for the minis. I mean, if you like to have them, that's fine. So like, here's like Rob, the one that they give you. And I honestly have no idea what this is. It looks like a pool noodle. What is this supposed to even be? I have no clue. No clue. And look at this, the size, the thickness here, right? This is going to end up being this thick, right? Like, you know that's going to happen. Like look how skinny that is. Not even a tat. No, that needs to be thickened up. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. But I guess it's based off of this TV series or YouTube series that people have been watching. So that's kind of cool to see. They do have a little bit of information on the game, though it's not like a huge amount of information. But again, it's a party game. You don't need a huge amount. Anyway, so that's coming up, and 1,300 people are interested in it, so that's cool too. Next up, we have Secrets of the Lost Tomb Epic Edition, 10-year anniversary. Yeah, so let me know if this is a game I would be interested in. It looks kind of cool. So if we come down here, first of all, 10-year anniversary, that's awesome. That's still that popular. They do have this like secret expansion stuff. I don't like buying stuff I don't know what it is. Personal preference here. I feel the same way with like loot boxes and stuff like that. I'll pay premium to buy that it's known versus a chance. I don't play that game. But, you know, if it's cool, it's cool. So there's that as at least. what's in the box? You get obviously the big box, 13 character sheets. You get 6 double-layered character dashboards, 13 standees. It's a standee game. Hundreds of game tokens, 12 unique dice, 36 tomb cards, 50 story cards, 48 status cards, 13 companions, 13 artifacts. I'm listing this on purpose. 13 spirit cards, 50 items, 40 base creatures, 33 elite creatures, and 13 boss creatures. And then 50 interlocking map tiles. You have 6 player reference cards, a comment track, and a soulmonger track in that box. That box contains the 7 original scenarios that have been remastered, so it gets updated slightly, probably with errata, and then 6 all new ones. So it's almost doubling what was in the core box. So 13 scenarios just in that box, which is pretty cool. Now, all of that costs you $100 plus that expansion. Now, anytime we get towards the $100 range and it doesn't have miniatures, which does increase cost, because the steel molds are expensive. I start to kind of count stuff, right? Like, well, that's a lot of cards, granted, but how many are repeats? And well, that's a lot of scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Like you start counting all this, and you're like, is that $100 worth? Hundreds of game tokens, a lot of tokens. So especially if you already have the original, so you're only getting the 6 new plus an update to your other ones. Let me know in the comments below what you think of that. They do have an epic all-in pledge that's going to have this big box. That often is just alone kind of worthwhile. You also get the big expansions and a whole bunch of little expansions. 13 boxes of gameplay product in that. So that's super cool to see. I think that's probably more beneficial to returning backers than necessarily this adventure one. This is probably better for new people. My assumption on that. And then, of course, they do have all these other expansions to kind of tell you about them. They're not listing individual prices yet. I don't know if you'll be able to get them individually or not. I'm not sure. And I don't know exactly what all is new in each one. They kind of allude to a few things, but anyway, let me know if this is a game that you think I would be interested in. Maybe I should cover it more. Coming up, then we also have Dungeons & Lasers 6 Caves. This is always a hit. Dungeons & Lasers does really well. That being said, this one only has 656 people following. Could be because there's no following incentive. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's just not soon enough. I know traditionally this is done really well. They do have a lot of stuff. I just shipped out some of this, or I just boxed up some of this to ship out. A huge box full of this Dungeons & Lasers stuff to a donator for the fundraiser. And it's a ton of stuff, and it's awesome. It's all really high quality. My wife has painted a few of the minis, and they are just fantastic. The terrain looks good as well. It just ends up being so good. And they're talking about a whole bunch of different props and minis in there and stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot here. So yeah, I will go to link down to that obviously in the description below as well with everything else. Forsaken Dante's Inferno. This is coming out next year. Q1 is where it's tentatively. I just wanted to cover this because, and disclaimer, a patron of mine ended up making this. They were a patron, I believe, well before I ever found out about this. Anyway, 1,190 people, which is awesome to see so many have been interested in this. You play as really evil characters like Genghis Khan and stuff, and you're trying to, escape hell, or the layers of hell. It does have a movable circular board where you're laying traps against the other people and stuff. The art style looks super cool, so I dig that. So, he hasn't really added too much more information, except kind of a little bit of an estimate. But anyway, just wanted to mention it. I haven't mentioned it in a while. It does look pretty cool. Looks right up the alley for a lot of us, I know, on this channel. All right, next up we have KeyForge Grim Reminders. This is going to be interesting. 1,667 followers on this. You do get a free pack. This is not a TCG. It's not random. Every deck is unique. The weird thing about KeyForge is that, well, okay, so first of all, it came to retail to much fanfare and then just stopped, and they said the algorithms are broken. By algorithm, I mean there's not actually, there's game designers in the sense that they kind of seeded and stuff like that's not truly random, but in a large part, they don't know what the computer program is going to produce for the deck. It just makes the deck within certain boundary conditions, stuff like that. So sometimes it even surprises them, and they have some weird cards that come out, and those are kind of special. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. They do kind of theme it though. They do give it a little bit of that seed idea. And this one, they're doing a lot with the discard. They're doing a lot with some scrap effects and stuff like that. So your discard pile is really affected by a lot of this. You become haunted, for instance, if you have more. So there's some new themes available in this one. But that's pretty cool. One thing they did say is the Gamefound campaign, is set to kick off September 28th. So in about a month, a little bit over a month, this will come on. Now, the first crowdfunding for this was huge, 1.2 million in funding. And that was just over the, I think, the initial launch of the Gamefound. I don't know what the pledge manager. So it came back with a huge amount. That being said, there were some big problems with delivery. They had to work on the algorithm to fix it and all this stuff. And of course, software engineers cost a pretty penny, a little bit more than developers typically, like board game developers. So what can you expect? Well, first of all, they said we've learned a lot. The algorithm's all set up. Like, we're good to go there. We have no illusions that such a feat can be replicated, the amount of money raised. KeyForge has now successfully been returned to the market. KeyForge OP is slowly starting to move forward with Vault Tours and Nationals, and retailers across the world have begun selling KeyForge again. As such, we expect the KeyForge Grim Reminders campaign to be, from a financial perspective, substantially more modest than the KeyForge Winds of Exchange campaign. So in other words, they're not expecting the 1.2 billion again. Kind of interesting to go into it that way. Happily, much of the software and infrastructure that was needed for KeyForge to return is now functional and is ready for more sets, all made possible by the proceeds from the original campaign. So that's kind of cool. And again, they have said, hey, we've learned a lot. I know some of the issue, I guess, was around communication, and that, I don't, they would have picked it up more if they had learned that. So I'm not sure you're going to get a lot more on the communication side, at least right away. So just go in this knowing that the delivery of the last one was kind of sketch, but they say they're in a better spot, and a lot of people seem to be excited for it. And just go from there. Next up, Perseverance, Castaway Chronicles episode 3 and 4. I covered the first few of these, so I'll be covering this one as well. The art style, the idea looks cool. It reminds me of Ark Survival, if you know the video game, Ark, where you're essentially surviving with dinosaurs and stuff like that. It ends up being a huge grind. Don't play it. But anyway, that is coming out here soon. So just stay tuned. It says more in the coming months. So I will cover that as it comes out. Next up, Black Rose Wars Duels. They have it available again. It's like 400 and 600, some in English and some in Italian. So they just have a certain amount of each that they can do. So if you're interested in it, get it while you can, because otherwise you won't be able to again. Okay, let's do some news. Lorcana keeps having some issues. In this case, the booster pack box design allows resellers to pull cards without breaking the seal. So the way that they're made, you can actually kind of open them up like this. So you can get them out there. They're not really sealed. It's definitely possible to pick them out that way and then kind of open them up in a way that allows you to steal the cards out or take some out or whatever. That's only a potential thing. There have been some people that have claimed they have gotten that. But people claim that anytime they don't like the pulls that they got, the rares that they got out of it. So how much you can actually tell in that, I don't know. There was some issues, obviously, with Magic the Gathering doing that, where they would open it up in a way to where they could reseal it nicely and take out the rares and replace them with cheap rares. So you still got all your cards, you still got the rares, but you would never get a actual, like, expensive, valuable card out of there. All those would be taken out. And so you get booster box after booster box with, just cheap stuff. So, whether that's going on in Lorcana or not, I don't know. But obviously, if it's a trading card game and they're edging into this, rarity stuff and all these special edition stuff and whatnot, and they want their cards to be valuable, they definitely need to take care of that. All right, next up we have Taverns and Dragons. A quick update here. It's kind of interesting. Essentially, there's lead in the metal coins, so they have to go try and get it. They've tested it several times. The metal coins seem fine. Other companies have made the metal coins here just fine, so they're trying to figure that out. But if you got metal coins from there, you might have to wait a little bit. You might never get it, actually. All right, after that, Batman Gotham City Chronicles. This one is a quick update here, just saying that, by the way, while it is a 6 month delay, it's the last one that they're doing. Moving forward, they're going to have development completed before launching the campaign for quick turnarounds like Orquest Warpath. So just as an FYI on that, they're not going to be doing this whole delay thing anymore. They've learned their lessons. So that's kind of cool. I'm glad we're seeing more of those. All right, next up, we have actual campaigns, and we're going to start easing into it with this one right here. This is Lumen Tarot, Oracle, and Artbook. It's by Lunar Oak Studio. And in this one, they actually made just tarot cards with their fancy art, and they're selling that. It's not even a board game. It's nothing to do with that. It's just a nice, easy way to print out some stuff that people would like. 16,000 raised, so 280 backers, so people are enjoying it. I think that's kind of cool. I think it's smart for companies to use their assets like this. It's not like it's extra development cost or anything. All right, next up we have Guilty Gear Strive, the board game. I've covered this leading up to this. Now here it is at 207,000 raised, 1,143 backers, still 17 days to go. This is by level 99. The art style looks great. I've heard nothing but good and great things from the gameplay. It is kind of pricey. It's $100 for the different cards that you get. You do get 20 fighters, so that's a great variety. They did really good on that. They're saying it's worth 130 though. I don't know. 695 cards, that's a lot. It just does seem a little pricey, but I think honestly, the fact that you get 20 fighters and you have all those combinations, I think it's worthwhile. Then you get like 179 for Collector's Edition, 449 for everything. As you see, there's a lot. Oh, you do get all these tuck boxes. I hate tuck boxes, but whatever. Anyway, you get that. So this one comes with all their other stuff, essentially, like this new wave of stuff that they've been doing. Either way, game can get kind of pricey, but I've heard, again, nothing but good things. So let me know if you think I would enjoy. I love card games. Next about that, we have Dungeon Cart. This finally launched. This is by Brotherwise Games, and people I know are super excited about this. 162,000 raised, 2,000 backers, 13 days still to go. The style of it looks adorable. I wish the grid wasn't so hardcore on there. It's almost hard to see the racetrack and stuff like that. But you do get abilities to, you know, do all these special things. You see bombs and hazards and stuff like that. It's Mario Kart the board game. It looks like a lot of fun. And it'll cost you about $50 only if that's all you want. So that's kind of cool to see. Right after that, we have The Wilderness. This is back at 25,000 raised, 116 backers. They are not funded yet, still 20 days ago. And sadly, their last campaign they canceled at 30. So it is kind of struggling still, which is kind of interesting. Let me know your thoughts on this and what you think it might be the issue. Is it the theme? Is it the style? Is it the offering of, you know, what you get for what you buy? It's definitely an older style board game, in my opinion, with like repeated minis like this a lot. But I know I'd be curious because it has good art. It seems to have good renders. What are your thoughts on this? I'd love to hear it. All right, next up we have Bear Mountain Camping Adventure, Race to the Top. Right now I have this backed at $1. I'll probably upgrade in the PM. I just need to manage how many games I'm getting based off of, you know, income from Patreon and stuff like that. So I gotta manage things, and I'm backing some STL stuff or some Warhammer stuff in the future because it needs to get started printing all that. So anyway, 7,000 plus backers, 680,000 raised, doing very good. This says camping on it, but really it's not just camping. There's a lot of outdoor activities and stuff you can do. But it looks like a lot of fun with the cards you play and stuff like that. And you get little meeples for everything, tokens and whatnot. So I think it looks awesome. I like the theme a lot. I love camping and doing that sort of stuff. So very cool to see how you can build up everything here and, you know, actually be able to do stuff. It's kind of nice. I like it. All right, after that we have Ascendancy. This is at 348,427 raised to 2,300 plus backers 5 days ago. A great start from Matthew Meeple. He's done very good here for a start. It looks like a game that does everything. Now, whether that'll be good or bad, time will tell. I'll try and let you guys know. They are sending a prototype, so ideally I get it really soon here and can actually unbox it for you guys in time, so at least you can see the prototype and where it's at and get like some initial thoughts on everything when it comes to like design, layout, you know, amount of tokens, stuff like that. It's obviously a prototype, so it's not the final thing, but I'll do what I can to get you guys to know more about that, and then hopefully get a review in by time of the Pledge Manager. I'm not sure when they plan to do that, but either way, you'll be seeing more on that on this channel, so stay tuned for that. And then finally, some new features on Gamefound. They do have stretch pay now for pledge managers / late pledges. So if you didn't know, they have like their campaigns and they have late pledges. So like pledge managers, where especially a campaign that's a pledge manager that was not on Gamefound, so like came from Kickstarter or BackerKit or something like that. And traditionally that did not have access to stretch pay, so now it does. So that's super cool. More of you can join in on doing that. PayPal is now able to be paid for a lot of this stuff, only in Euro though. So if you aren't paying in Euro, that doesn't really help you out too much. And they do have a new pledge status ready for shipping, which is kind of cool. So in other words, you can be like, bam, we're ready. It's a little toggle, yes, no, which is kind of nice. And comment management, this is for creators, but essentially they can see their comments across all of their updates and comments and projects and be able to manage them all in one place, which is kind of good. Hopefully that means that you're able to see your comment more, especially on older campaigns they may not be looking at necessarily as much as their newer campaigns. So hopefully that's a benefit to you guys as well. Guys, that's all I had today. Tried to keep this one a little quick, but we had a lot of new announcements to go over, so hopefully you enjoyed some of that. Let me know what you're looking forward to the most. If I covered it, if I didn't, do let me know so I can take a look at it as well. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye, guys.